Okay. I'm Steve Elliott. I'm editor of TokeSignals.com. I'm the author of The Little Black Book of Marijuana. I'm going to read a little bit to you from Peter McWilliams' 2000 book, Ain't Nobody's Business If You Do. And I quote, "One of the most beneficial aspects of using hemp or other plants for fuel is that as plants grow, the plants take carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere and replace it with oxygen. This helps solve one of our primary environmental problems, too much carbon dioxide. When a portion of the hemp plant is burned for fuel, it has already earned the oxygen it uses by having placed that oxygen in the atmosphere while it grew. Fossil fuels, oil, gas, or coal, on the other hand, come from plant and animal sources that died millions of years ago. Whatever carbon dioxide they took or oxygen they left happened millions of years ago. Burning fossil fuels then only adds to carbon dioxide and reduces the amount of oxygen in the atmosphere. The hemp plant has remarkable potential for agriculture, manufacturing, energy, and the environment. And yet cultivating, using, or even possessing hemp can get you mandatory life imprisonment. If you possess enough of it and the government determines you were a big-time pot seller, you could be put to death. As with most consensual crimes, this prohibition of hemp is both silly and sinister." Those words are from the great Peter McWilliams. This is the book that you want right here. Ain't Nobody's Business If You Do. Read it. Available from McWilliams.org. You definitely want to read this. Educate yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Steve Elliott. I have a couple questions for you.
Okay.
What do you feel about the fact that Mr. Paul Stanford has decided to name a road after Peter here, called Peter McWilliams Place?
I think that's a great idea. I'm glad that Mr. Stanford decided to do that, and it's a fitting honor for Mr. McWilliams, especially since this venue is also associated with another legend, Mr. Jack Herer. It's nice to see both of these men, these legends in the hemp and cannabis movement, honored in this way. It's a great thing.
What do you feel about the upcoming release of a video that I've been working really hard on called A Question of Compassion? An AIDS cancer patient explores medical marijuana. It was Peter's last work. He never got to finish it. And now American Weed's Josh Stanley is going to narrate it. What do you feel about getting this out to the public in a free way? I mean, every patient out there will get it for free.
On a personal level, I'm excited about seeing the film. I can hardly wait to see it. And on a larger level, I am excited that the public at large will be able to see this and will be able to be educated by it at last. I know that Mr. Peter McWilliams would be very, very happy to see finally this work coming to fruition, and that this type of thing will be available to people as it should have been for a long time now.
Do you feel the spirit of Peter McWilliams is among us today, even though he died 13 years ago? Do you feel his spirit is with us among people at Hempstalk?
At a moment like this, I have no doubt of that. I know that the spirit of Peter McWilliams lives on in many of us, and we will continue carrying on the memory of Peter McWilliams as long as we live, and hopefully pass it on to the next generation. It's something worth remembering, and it's a man that is deserving of that honor.
If I were to go up on stage tonight when I speak and say that the federal government murdered Peter, would you have a problem with that?
I would agree with you that the federal government is responsible for the death of Peter McWilliams and should be held responsible for his murder, because they took the life-giving medicine that kept him from being so nauseous. Once they took his medicine away, that's when he died, and I hold them responsible for that. I consider that a crime, and we can't forget the wrong that has been done here.
On the Hempstalk stage tonight is a banner that looks pretty good, if I say so myself, and it's because I got it made, and it's got Peter's face on it, and the quote, "Nausea is an unsolved problem of medicine, and marijuana is the finest anti-nausea medication known to science." How do you feel personally about that quote that Peter once said?
This quote has direct, personal, relevant meaning to me, and often when I wake up in the morning, the only relief I can find from nausea is through cannabis. So I know that Peter McWilliams was telling the truth. It is the most effective nausea medication we know, and it is also the only non-toxic nausea medication we know. So he was definitely telling the truth about that one. I can tell you from my personal experience. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Mr. Steve Elliott.
Thank you, Miss Julie. It's always a pleasure talking to you.